Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at a Pemko 4131BDGSL bright dip gold anodized aluminum, automatic door bottom with a silicone insert for surface or semi-mortise installation. So, automatic door bottoms. The principle or the general idea behind an automatic door bottom means that when the door is pushed closed, the door bottom automatically drops and seals the bottom of the door. It's that simple, the principle of this, and that's exactly how they work. There's two different ends. You'll notice that this end has got this plunger sticking out of the end of it, and a little bit of weather stripping, which you trim after installation. Plunger. The other end does not. Just a little bit of weather stripping hanging out that you'll trim after your installation. Very typical. Okay? You've got there is no front side or back side to these. You can, either face can be out. Okay? So they're the same regardless of that. So let's start at the beginning. How do automatic door bottoms work? Well, back to the plunger side. When this is attached to the bottom of the door, not obviously, but it has to be attached to the push side of the door, only the push side. This can be either mounted to the face of the door, or the bottom of the door can be mortised in for this to sit flush. So you can actually mortise the face of your door so that this is completely flush with the face of the door. So it's surface mounted, or that's what they call semi-mortise. Once you get it attached to the door on the push side, and since we're talking about that, you would take in terms of what length this should be, you would measure, when the door is in the closed position, measure the distance between the stops down at the bottom, and then deduct about 1/8 of an inch. And that would be your net size. Okay. When you get that attached to the bottom of the door, the plunger side must be installed, well, back up. The plunger must be installed on the hinge side. Point this towards the hinge jamb, whatever side that might be. So now, this is attached. As the door, let's say the door is going to swing, into the room, with the hinges over here, and I'm going to be on the push side. You would be on the pull side. You'd be on the inside. So it's going to swing out like this towards you. Okay? The act of the door swinging over here, of course, the pivoting axis would be like here, so it would come off and out. And I realize you can't see that very well on the camera, but a gap opens up between the edge of this and the frame. So, when the door is closed, pushed closed, this, in the last few degrees of the closing cycle, will come in contact with the jamb. Just going to make a quick sketch here. Okay, there's your jamb. Got a hinge drawn in there. Now here comes the door. There's the door. Now that door bottom is going to be attached right to the face of the door. Now the plunger sticks out just like that heavy line that I just drew right there. As you open the door up, you can see that plunger will be in its natural state. But you can also see that when you push the door closed, this is going to come in contact with the frame. Now, it's that action that forces the bottom to drop because the plunger is connected to a flat spring. It's just a piece of steel. But it's pinned back here on one end. Back over here is where that flat spring is attached to. When the plunger gets pushed in, because the door is being closed and it hits the frame, it has only one place to go. It goes into the housing. It compresses or bellies the flat spring. It puts a belly on it. That bellying forces the seal to drop. Here's how it works. Door closes. I'm going to just push in here because this is a standard duty automatic door bottom versus heavier duty. So the flat spring is not really that strong and my hand can actually push it in. My finger can. As I push it in, you can see that the bottom drops. The more that this is turned counterclockwise, the further out it sticks. The more drop you can achieve. Maximum drop is typically about 7/8 of an inch for these. Now, as I drop that, you can see that it comes down unevenly, and that's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. What these bottoms do is, when they drop, one side drops down, and then the rest of it kind of guillotines down. That allows for it to contour to an uneven sill, or a door that's not hung plumb, that sort of situation. So, if I push that closed, and I allow my thumb to act as like the floor so that it can't go down anymore, you can see that at the other end, down here by my elbow where I'm shaking it, it will drop down there as well. Let's say if I restrict it all together, you can see that the other side will drop. Real nice feature, and they work really great. They are very long-lasting sorts of situations. That is the premise of automatic door bottoms. They are available in standard duty and heavy duty. They're available in surface or semi-mortised like this. They're available as full mortised as well. Okay, they're available for, special ones are made for specific applications, like the bottom of an inverted channel of a steel door. Some are made for the retardation of sound transmission through an opening. A variety of different ways to go about changing this design or varying this design to achieve higher results in terms of cold or sound or whatever the case might be. Obviously, every different color under the sun that you would possibly need. Gold. I haven't seen a gold automatic door bottom in a long time. This is obviously matching somebody's brass hardware on their door, which would be fantastic for doing that. But it's less common than your typical aluminum situation. I am a big fan of automatic door bottoms because they are smart. They're elegant in their design and somewhat elegant in their design and elegant in the ability to solve the problem. What I like about it is there's no seal that is dragging across the floor that will get worn out or wear your floor out or whatever the case might be or get damaged. The only time this is doing a job is when the door is closed and sealed at that moment. Every other time it's tucked up, and whenever the door is open, it's tucked up in their housing. And all you're doing is dropping it, really. You're not dragging it. You'll want to be careful not to have it drop too far down, because what will happen is you want it to seal, but not so much so that when you start to open the door, it doesn't start to retract. You want it to immediately begin to retract as soon as you start to open the door, because it'll snap back up in its housing before you can get it to drag across anything, and that's really important. Pemko is a full-line provider of automatic door bottoms of those different variations that we just spoke of. Now, this one has an SL, which is a silicone seal, which is a very good high-performance silicone-based hollow extrusion of material, providing the seal. Pemko has different variants on this sealing material, like their Pemko Preen, which is like a synthetic rubber, and etc. Silicone is preferred by a lot of people. Very good, high-quality, long-lasting, and durable material. And speaking of that, you can buy replacements. Not that I would expect that you'd have to, but you can. You can also cut this down a bit. This is going to have the ability to be cut down from the side opposite the hinge, obviously. And you really want to stay away from that screw here holding the flat spring. See, this one you'd be able to trim a little bit. And they generally would have to be trimmed anyway, because this one's a stock, not stock, but this is a common 36-inch length. So obviously someone will have to cut this down a bit. I'm a big fan of the client ordering the net size that they need by indicating in the comment field what size they want. Measure that opening, door closed between the stops, deduct an eighth, put the size in the comment field, and then you don't have to cut it, hopefully, when it arrives. Nice and easy. If you've got it already cut, this installation becomes a very quick situation. Now, also in the package is going to be the screws for attaching it to the door. They're just going to be a gold sort of pan head screw. It's going to go through these holes. Okay. We'll get it attached onto the door. It's also going to have a couple of end caps so that you can, in a decorative sort of fashion, finish off the edge of the unit. So in this case, we'd be looking at, it would look something like this. Nice and finished off there on the edge. Because, that's all exposed. You'll see that. Also, you'll get screws to hold those end caps on. Last piece that you're going to get is a screw with a undercut flat head, a real short wood screw. This is to go to the frame, exactly in the place where that plunger is going to strike it every time. You don't want this plunger to unnecessarily or prematurely wear down a space in your frame. So the screw is provided. You put it to the frame, and every time the plunger strikes the frame, it will touch the head of that screw and give it something to solid to work with. Real good quality item, and they just work fantastic. I can't say enough about automatic door bottoms. I think they're they are a wise person's elegant solution to the problem. So where you're going to see these is exterior doors, obviously, in homes in a gold finish, in residential typically. Also, people that buy these are going to be people that want to. A lot of people have built like a home sound studio or recording studio or a practice space, and these sorts of seals do help attenuate the transmission of sound. I call them a poor man's version of being able to do that, because the real material that's intended for STC or sound transmission control is incredibly expensive because it does the job. This is an inexpensive way to go about getting the job done, and I would prefer this if it was a amateur situation every time. Now, speaking of that, one complaint is that when that's down and you go to open the door, you hear that snap. You hear it every time. That's one complaint. People say, oh, why is it so loud? Well, the truth of the matter, it is loud. That is something that does need to be contended with. It's the nature of the beast, I suppose. Pemko does have some models that have a piece of deadening material that goes between that contact area, okay, to help deaden that sound. Those are also available. Reach out to us if you want help locating that material. Pemko, a full-line manufacturer of all things residential weather stripping related, and of course commercial weather stripping. Their primary line and what they're most noted for. But they also do continuous geared aluminum hinges, and they do aluminum track and hangers for bypass, pocket, bifolding sorts of door situations. Any questions on the Pemko 4131 BDGSL? BDGSL, bright tip gold anodized aluminum automatic door bottom with silicone insert, or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.